Hey, how's everybody doing? This is your boy Rich from richtvlive. I'm here with a frequent guest, Greg Safrensky. How you doing, Greg?
Good morning, Rich, and good morning, everybody viewing in today. How are you all?
Oh, we're doing very, very well. So let's just get right into it. There's some big news. International Montero Resources. And I want to pull up the news here. Give me 1 second, and we're going to pull it up. There we go. So, International Montero Resources has some big news. You want to talk about it?
Okay, in the process of a public company in Canada acquiring a mining property, you make the announcement, you do the terms, how much you're going to pay, if it's going to be shares, cash, or whatever it's going to be, and then you have a 30-day period to bring in a geologist, one who's going to be the author of the National Instrument 43101. I can touch on that a little bit later, but basically it's a methodology put forward to make sure that to the investor that everything's transparent and it's gone through the highest oversight, both by the geologists and sometimes the geophysical professional societies. It's a seal of approval. And there's a 30-day period where a company can say, we don't want to do the deal, so they don't go forward on the 43101. So if you're reading this news release, you'll find that we talk a lot about the property to the north of us, Defense Minerals, Wicheeda South. Montero previously owned developed this property back in '08, '09, and 10. We couldn't keep the ground. We went through some tough times there's been some tough times in the mining business for some years now, but we couldn't hold the property. And when the opportunity came around for us to reacquire it, to buy back our own property, we took that opportunity. And there's a strong reason for that. And I think we should go to that PowerPoint, not the PowerPoint, that Word doc there. If you could open that up.
Yeah, let me do that. Let's open up the Word doc. 1 second.
Now, if this is all about rare earth elements, folks, it's a very hard to pronounce group of elements. Uh, the lanthanides, even that, even the group is hard to pronounce. Presidium, neodymium, lithium. Well, there's some things you've never heard of before. And I put together this little thing that Rich is going to pop up here, this Word doc, and a little quick explanation on how it ties in with us and the Wicheeda, BC project, which is north of Prince George for those people who have some geographical background in British Columbia. It's about midway up the province on our eastern border. That's the area where the property lies. Are we getting any luck with that thing?
Yeah, you're not. You don't see the screen. It's on the screen.
Oh, I don't see it. So
What do you see on your screen? Because I can
I
see.
see you and me.
No, that doesn't make sense. Because I can see the screen right now, and it shows the Word doc.
Okay, so I can't see it. Well, you see it, and I can't see it. They can see it. That's cool.
Yeah, they can see it.
Okay, so you're
Maybe
looking at it.
you might
So
want to.
let's.
Maybe you want to refresh your computer so you can see.
Um,
So you can
all right,
see.
I'll hit that button. You said I could, but what happens? I don't know. You're gone.
I want you to be able to see what I see, right? So,
Uh,
um, so we can. You can follow. Everyone can follow along together.
is there a button I should push?
Well, I'm looking at the live stream right now, and I can see the Word doc. Hey,
Okay,
anybody?
great. I got it right here on my left here on a different screen. So we'll walk right along.
Yeah, like
So it
see,
says,
the group is saying that they can see the Word doc.
okay,
Yeah.
so it starts off. Guess how many pounds of rare earth elements, some things like these elements you've never heard of, go into an F-35, a brand new spanking $1.3 trillion fighter jet. I think we're getting a half dozen of them here in Canada if they ever get made. Yeah, it's 1,000 pounds. Now,
Wow.
and it's just, it's hard to tell you. I mean, like right now we're talking, the screen has rare earth elements in it. There's rare earth elements in your computer. I mean, it's the Japanese call it the vitamins of industry. I call it magic pixie dust because you can get really amazing things happen when you apply these rare earth elements. Um, there's but the one rare earth element mine in North America, and that's the Mountain Pass mine. Now, the Mountain Pass mine, going back again, we're going back to the time previously when Montero held the property, was for the longest time the premier mine in the world for rare earth elements. And somewhere in the late 1990s, the Chinese grabbed the mantle of rare earth and they took it and ran with it up until a couple of years ago. They controlled 95% of the rare earth elements. Why is that a bad thing? I'll tell you why it's a bad thing. Because you want to make a fighter jet, you can eat 1,000 pounds of these things. And trust me, the Mountain Pass mine is back in production now. But back in 2008, 9, 10, their stock was a penny stock on the OTC. I think they were on the grays. It was like at one point it traded 0.006 cents. Well, that sucker went to $75 a share in that same time period between 2008 and 2009. And listen to the New York Stock Exchange. Talk about a win. Ooh, from 0.006 to $75. They raised $1 billion.
That's crazy.
They plowed it into the mine, and then because the Chinese had were stopping the delivery they were stopping the shipments of rare earths into North America, and that caused a huge panic. And it showed the Americans how vulnerable they are and how essential these rare earth elements are. So it says, Brigadier General U.S. Army John Adams believes the country needs to rebuild America's industrial chain before it's too late. We have allowed ourselves to become unnervingly comfortable in China's vice. And again, since the 1990s, when the Americans controlled the market, the Chinese have taken it over entirely. And so this is an important thing as we go along. I put some points up there. I don't know if you can add this Word document to the video afterwards.
We're on the Word document right now.
Okay, no, but if people want to come back and come to this. So there's.
Yeah, I can put a link to it. We can put a link to it.
Oh yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So a lot of things that can go on. It's a serious situation. In the end of 2017, the president signed an executive order. It's a Critical Minerals Act, and it's basically saying that they've fallen behind in the whole mining sector. Everything that they build is coming in the country. So if you're building an electric car, where's the lithium coming from? Oh, it's coming from China. It's coming from Chile. You're building a fighter jet. Where's the rare earth? Where's half a ton of rare earth elements to make all the special war gadgets on it work? Coming from China. Well, if you're going to have there's a defense problem right there. You're counting on you got this super expensive $1.3 trillion toy, the F-35, and you counting on China to deliver you the rare earths to make it. And meantime, you're in a trade war with China, and oh boy, there's so many things not adding up in this equation. It came to like this just recently, and you see on the Word doc there that the American government's hired a UK firm to secure these rare earth minerals, and so they're reaching out. Again, you can see that graph. That's from the London Telegraph, and then in the news.
So it shows here, U.S. government taps UK firm to secure rare metals. Yeah. April 22nd, 2019, London Telegraph. China is at 120,000. Australia is at 20,000. Yeah. United States, 15,000.
That's right now where we stand on. Sorry, it just came over on. I didn't. My document goes this way. This is going the other way, so I didn't get the thing in there. That's the dominance of China. In that chart, you see the dominance of China in the production of rare earth.
Yeah, like
How do you
six
term?
times Australia, which is their second largest competitor.
Yeah, and in actuality, all they're doing in Australia is mining and concentrating the rare earth elements and shipping it for final processing to China. So that's the same thing for the United States. That's 15,000 tons there. That's mined at the Mountain Pass mine, and this is Mountain Pass mines at the California-Nevada border. Friends of mine operate it. Great guys, but they're basically working for the Chinese. They mine the ore, they concentrate it there, and then they put it in the big super bags and put it on the rail car, and it takes a nice little trip to Inner Mongolia. It might be Outer Mongolia. Anyways, it's going halfway around the world for the final processing. Now, in April here this year, the Chinese put out, I'm going to call it an edict, but let's call it a news release or whatever the government send out to the people. It's an update from the Chinese government that they're going to slash their rare earth elements production. And this has spooked customers of the material of rare earth used in cell phones, electric vehicles, smart bombs, you name it. And for those who follow the rare earth market, it's like deja vu back to 2009 when China suddenly reduced its exports of REEs by 40%. We are back in that same spot again. History is repeating itself. And back at that time, when we had our rare earth property, I can remember the day. I think the stock was like 7 or 8 cents, and all of a sudden, first thing in the morning, it traded 20 million shares. There was only 40 million shares that could trade, and it went right to 21 cents because that was it's a panic, fear-driven buy, and we are again back in that same spot again, maybe worse off than previously. And so China has said recently that they are and have been since 2009 pretty well every year. They say at one point we're not going to export rare earth elements. We're going to keep it all for our domestic consumption. Now the United States took them to World Court over that. They did this yada yada thing. The Chinese said, "Oh, we'll make the market more transparent," and all they did was put up a website where all the prices were, the trades going back and forth. Of course, it was all in Chinese and very small print to read, so it was a very difficult thing. Then you see going on to the next picture there. Your viewers can go and look at this. It shows the advanced rare earth projects around the world. Montero has. You see, there's one in BC, and there's and there's a bunch of them around the Great Lakes. Well, Montero has 2 of those projects on that map. The one here in BC at the Wicheeda North, and also at our P-Course or Serpent River property in near Elliott Lake, Ontario, which we've previously talked about. And there's going to be some more excitement about the P-Course nickel anomaly coming for your viewers very shortly. Now, there's another bar chart there. It's the neodymium. I'm maybe not the best pronouncer of some of these words. I need to go to Google and have them play them for me so I know how to say them. But this is for the rare earth magnets. And why I bring this up is you go into the super weird science of how you add neodymium to iron and it makes a super powerful magnet. But you've got it if you've got earpods or any sort of headset, really, you've got rare earth magnets in there. But the big new use for rare earth magnets is Tesla model, and this is brand new breaking news. The Tesla Model 3 has an electric motor. Most electric motors are copper wire wound and wound and wound. It's a big bundle of copper wires, and the magnetic field generates force that turns the crank. In the case of all the Model 3s, they operate on a fixed rare earth magnet motor. So there's no copper winding. And the SX, they just announced their Raven project, where the S and the X series now will have this rare earth motor drive. And it's a beautiful thing because it gives you a variable transmission. You just add electricity and you go faster. There's no gearbox, no transmission. All these moving parts have disappeared in an electric car. So the demand for neodymium is ever escalating, and because of the S and X are going to get this new motor with the Model 3, is a gigantic demand for the neodymium, which we have at both our spots there.
So what Greg is saying is because Tesla needs these rare earth metals, being in the rare earth metals field is the right place at the right time because a lot of these electric cars are going to need these rare earth metals to be able to create their vehicles, correct?
Yeah, and it's not just the cars; it's the buses. Even the equipment used to make the cars use rare earth. The robots got rare earth magnets in it. It's just it's endemic in society. You don't know about them. I can't pronounce most of them. But
I want to ask you a question. So I'm looking
yeah,
at in International Montero Resources. I'm looking at their balance sheet. It looks pretty strong. There's 2.26 million on the balance sheet in
yeah.
and in assets, and only 850,000 in liabilities. So the balance sheet looks pretty strong.
Yeah, the liabilities, to be fair to the investors, are mostly for the office for the our management officers who have foregone haven't drawn a salary. Some of them, in some regards, for up towards to 2 years. As we've struggled through a very difficult period within the mining sector here in Canada. I mean, we had an apex high water mark back in 2010 where everybody made just a ton of money. And we've been in a double bear market since then. So the negativity of that is actually opportunity. It's just how long we've been in a bear market? Well, pretty well 9 years, and the longest bear market we've had in our sector is 7 years. And there's a whole bunch of things that are happening. A lot of it driven by electric cars, the electrification of the death of the ICE engine. At one point, sometimes in the next 18 months, it'll be cheaper to buy an electric vehicle than a gas car. And there's all kinds of, and then of course there's all this. You got the Germans building out, the Chinese building out, and America, of course, the Teslas are going gangbusters. This is all new demand. So on top of what we had back in 2009, now we got this big new demand, the electric vehicle, fourth industrial revolution. So we're going to go over now to the Wicheeda news release. This is from Defense Minerals, and they've got a bulk sample there. I think it's 30 tons. So this bulk sample comes right on the other side of our border, just to the south of us. That's where of Montero's ground on the Wicheeda. They're Wicheeda South, we're Wicheeda North. Now, this is very exciting news because we're next door, and we anticipate to have as much as 2/3 the bigger deposit than the Wicheeda South Defense Minerals. And why that's important is because now they're running this test at SGS Labs in Ontario. It's a bulk test. It's you call it pilot production almost, but definitely somewhere between tabletop to pilot production when you're dealing with tons. And we know from previously, because we had this property in 2009, and the World Authority on Rare Earth Minerals elements is Dr. Mariano, who I got many times had an opportunity to talk with, and he had taken back in 2009 a bulk sample, a small bulk bag of the material from Wicheeda, and taking it back to his lab. I think he's in Oregon, and he, in one flotation circuit, which is as simple as this: add water, and a froth will occur. You pour off the froth, and the goodies will be in the bottom, sort of thing. It's a very simple add water process. And he got nearly 50% concentration. So now, again, mining, and for your investors and friends and followers there, Rich, it really breaks down into how much is that rock a ton? Like if, and a lot of companies, they will revert, they might have zinc, silver, or and lead in a deposit. And they might reference how much is that, how many grams per ton gold that is. They just take all the math and spin it in, make it into gold. What's the equivalent in gold? But this basically boils down to how much is that rock per ton? Well, I broke it down here for you. So the cerium, you got in 1 ton of this material, you got 24 kilos of cerium, you got 6.7 kilos of lanthanum, neodymium 5.2, praseodymium 1.8. And recent prices give us a value of about 493 US per ton. Now, that's not, you're not shipping that to China for final processing. You have to concentrate. So we know that we can get to 50%. They're going to be utilizing a couple of new processes in the concentration mode. But even if they get it to 40% at the lab in Ontario, that material will be like almost $5,000 US a ton. Well, that's something you can ship to China for final processing. If you can get it better than that, you're going to get more money. But this is not. So you got the weight. You know, how much is that? How much is that rock per ton? How many? If I take a couple shovels, how much am I getting? And then I'm going to do some value-added processing. I'm going to concentrate it. Then I got an end buyer in China. Heck, the end buyer for this material at this stage of the game is, and it is a distinct possibility. If we can deliver a concentrate, and our neighbors can deliver a concentrate. Of course, we have the same material in our ground. Then it's not incomprehensible that the United States government may have a significant interest in buying from us as well. As it is now, it's economy and defense, and the Chinese are really taking that away from the Americans. And I think that, like I said, there was the Chinese, I read that mentioned before, that they're planning on dropping their production 40% in China. And they've always said, at one point, we're not going to export, we're going to keep all the rare earths we produce for our own domestic use. And that basically locks them in for, all the electronic manufacturing. But, no government's going to send their plans for their smart bomb or their jet fighter to China for them to make their jets for them. That would be not a good idea. So, and then I put a little thing there from Facebook. It's a video.
I got the video. You want me to play it?
Yeah, you want it? I started it basically halfway through.
I'll play it. I'll play it right now.
Yeah,
Hold on. Let's just hear it. It's 2 minutes. Let's play it.
So what you got there is for your viewers there, it's breaking down a cell phone, and which breaks it down into taking a cell phone, they grinded it up, they figured out what was in it, and then they multiplied that by how many cell phones are produced in a year. And you can see the vast amounts of all these metals and elements that maybe you didn't know existed that go into you making your cell phone. So that's it's a little bit of a break in the action. So that's about it, Rich. These are essential critical minerals that we're exploring for. The neighbors near is going into, well, I think as a result of this of their sampling, they'll go into production. We have probably 2/3 more material, more ore on our property. From this, we know from 2009. When we previously owned the company, when we previously owned this property, now we have the property back. We're waiting for the weather to get a little bit better. We'll be up there as per the news release. We'll be, doing the sampling, the contact we found geochem. One of the things that'll be really exciting, folks, and I'm going to cut it short for you here, is that we've already completed back in 2009 the flyover helicopter survey, and we will be turning that into a 3D model, and we've been in talks and are quite friendly with our neighbors, Defense, and to the south of them, CIN Minerals, who also have done the helicopter survey, and we're going to put it together in a 3D model of the whole deposit from all three companies, and you'll be able to see, and it'll be very exciting for the stock price, I'm sure too, how bigger our deposit is than the companies below us. And another thing is, pretty soon, and this is, I hear rumbles on the street, heard on the street. There's going to be some activities, maybe acquisitions. Something's going to happen with Defense Minerals. They recently changed one of their board. Unfortunately, one of their old board members passed away. We'll miss them, and there's going to be, there's going to be a series of news in the next 2 to 3 weeks that was going to heat up this particular sector, this particular property for Montero coming from Defense. They're going to get their lab test results, and I hear other rumblings. So just wanted to have a good look at. We are progressing, of course, with our P.Geo project. That's that massive nickel target we got in just outside Elliott Lake. We've hired some very, very high-end specialists to take all our data sets and put it into one 3D model. And if I had the ability to share a little picture with you here today, I would do so, but I don't think that'd be correct before everybody else gets to see it.
Greg, let's talk about the 43101, the news that I talked about today. So I did a video this morning. You guys got a 43101. That's huge. Yeah. That's huge. That's like the equivalent of a cannabis company getting a license to cultivate. Correct?
It's not as. I don't think it is that much. It's not that level. Okay, that's not that level. I would say. We have a submission in that maybe if we find the ore, we can mine it. But it gives the whole National Instrument 43101 rule was put together to protect the investors. I think I added a link to my last email to you, Rich, to the 43101. It's not up on the website. It should be up on the website today, but I put it up on SlideShare, so if anybody wants to view it. Got lots of pretty pictures, a lot of explanations. I think it's about 40 pages long. It's quite a tune, but it's the blueprint for our mining exploration program, and it's basically it's been certified by the Geological Association for the benefit and the security of people investing in the mining sector. So. That's all I have for you today.
Thank you so much, Greg.
Montero's now a one-trick pony. We got 2 rare earth properties. Rare earth is going to heat right up here.
Honestly, Greg, I think you're in the right sector. I think that you guys obviously are very close to something big. You're getting 43101s. You guys have properties that have elements in them. You guys have money in the bank. I think that this company is poised. I mean, it's only at 5 cents. It's up 11% today, but the volume is the only thing that I see is the issue. We got to get this stock moving. We got to get some volume.
It's mining company and pot companies. It's hard to compare. We don't have news every day, and then when the news comes, it's hot and heavy, and the stock trades big volume.
So are you saying that this news today?
Anything here? We don't have a whole bunch of deals that we're going to say, okay, we're going to announce this deal this day and this deal that day. We got all these deals. No, we have to get tunnel vision, and the pun's intended. We have to concentrate on these properties. We have to find the people to help us explore them, be they drillers, geologists, geophysicists, any other consultants. And you don't want to play too many projects, but Again, Montero, we got uranium in Uranium City, Saskatchewan. We did a big drill program up there. We found lots of uranium. We got rare earth, both here in BC and in our property in Elliott Lake, the Serpent River property. But the Serpent River property is like the score of a lifetime. It's got 13 million pounds of uranium. It's got 3 times that amount of, in that portion of our property, 3 times that rare earth. And to the north, we got this massive nickel anomaly that we're going to be exploring this year. And the next time we speak, we'll be discussing what's happening at P.Geo. Because there's going to be some, in the mining business, you make a massive sulfide discovery of nickel in Canada, and they haven't made one in the last 50 years, Voisey Bay. Voisey Bay, the stock went from 30 cents to $156 on a nickel discovery in Labrador. Bought out almost immediately for $4.3 billion.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's what's where we got excited at P-Course is we got a chance. We hired the same company that works for Valley, the present owner, operator of that mine. And Valley had shared some information about their helicopter Z10 survey with a couple of scholastic gentlemen, and they published a paper, and we get to see that the Z10 data because if you're doing these surveys, you don't it's an exclusive thing with the customer. You're not sharing it to anybody else, and you can ask the customer, hey, can we share your data with the mining company? And 99 times out of 100, they're going to say no. so. So we got the chance to see that how do we compare to Voisey Bay? Well, in the case of the P course, physical size much bigger, and for the nanoteslas, a measure for magnetism, they got 41,000, we got 57,000. The bigger number wins, and that 57,000 target where we'll be going after, touch wood, cross your fingers, this spring. We'll be drilling it, and we hit there, my friend. The telephone numbers is what happened to stock.
Let me ask you a question. If there's a way that people can get in contact with you, what would be the best way for them to get in contact with you? If there's anyone that's either
you
interested
can always
in
call
investing,
the office. Please do. If you have any questions, there's no stupid questions. I've been happy to answer and bring you up to speed. And a well-educated investor is the best investor.
yes,
And that's just good advice. Do your due diligence, please. If you're buying into these companies, please, you should, whatever, if you're buying our company's shares, and you got to know the people, and you got to know that they, if you phone them, they're going to be open to discussing, their company with you and their projects with you, because that's what you're supposed to do. There should be, transparency in the marketplace. You'll call the guy up and say, hey, what do you think? What's this mean? What's that mean? There are no stupid questions. Everybody, if you just stop, if you really honestly, if you don't stop learning, you're going to start dying. So the more knowledge you can acquire in this lifetime, the better you are, the more richer you'll be. So yeah, you contact us here at the office. The number is 604-683-6648. I'll be here waiting for your call.
and if there's one thing you want investors to know about International Montero Resources before we leave today, what would it be?
Okay, we're hardworking guys. We've had this company over 30 years. We've had a lot of wins. We've had a lot of rough times. The turnaround's happening right now, Rich. There's gonna be all kinds of shortages coming, both from the copper and nickel and the rare earth, and everybody's gonna come flooding into this industry. It's a good time to enter now, ahead of the pack.
That's great. Thank you so much for everything once again.
Thank you very much for having us, Rich. Thank you guys for listening in. I hope you have a great day.
And I wish you all the best of luck. Keep up all the hard work. And anytime you have anything big or anything newsworthy, please let us know. We'd love to have you back on the show.
Well, the P-Course story is really developing. Here it is. Okay, listen, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Cheers.